The problem is, how much money did he earn off that gold medal? How much fame did he earn off that from his country? How much all that stuff? Right. And so the poorer countries, a lot of these countries,
in a way, the disgrace ends up being, I mean, not necessarily equal, but the disgrace is huge as well for the downfall. It's like pride before the fall, almost.
It is, but the disgrace, the negative for actually doing it still isn't big enough. It's not as much.
Right.
It's not as much. And people from smaller countries, maybe from an Eastern European country, what's your negative? If you're a poor kid growing up on a farm, you're probably
excuse that.
They'll excuse it. They'll be like, oh, I got to take drugs because then I can be a hero and I can win the triathlon world championships, be maybe a multi-millionaire and come back and take care of my family. It's worth it to them. Whereas you have to have some kind of moral compass to realize this is not how we do things in this country, or just in general. It's not how you do. You don't cheat to win. That's not what sport's about, you know? And I never felt like in my sport of triathlon that I was ever in competition with other athletes that were cheating to the point where I couldn't win the race. Now that would be a defeating feeling, right? To know going in, you're like, man, I'm going to go on this 100-meter dash, right, at the Olympic Games in the 100-meter final, and knowing that maybe a lot of those guys could be potentially on drugs and you're clean, the chance of you winning might not be very good.
You know what, Hunter? It takes the spirit out of
it. It does. It does.
The thing is,
sport.
Remember you said that in a way the commercial side to sport is not the fun side, right?
It's true.
It's necessary for so many reasons to compensate people, to pay for these events and everything. And competition and to get to the top, I think, is a great and amazing thing. But when you start cheating, I mean, and this is simplistic, but like, you're not playing the game. You're not, your spirit is not in it as it should be.
No.
You've zapped yourself of the feeling that you wanted to get out of it. Like, and I think the only explicit example I know is Lance Armstrong. And I'm trying to think of it from a perspective, let's say I was a cyclist cycling against him. I'm like, oh dang, he keeps beating me, beating me. I need to train harder. And it might be good that I keep training harder to beat someone on steroids, right? But how am I going to feel later if I get preemptively, postemptively awarded some? I'm not going to care at that point. I'm like, this guy was cheating.
Yes.
I'm going to feel cheated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like he's not just zapping his own spirit with this. He's cheating me.
He is. Everyone involved.
It's bad.
It's very bad.
But here's the thing. Like, look, the pickings are slim. The financial rewards are high. And the competition is so tough. And you compete in a sport that's on time.
Yes.
Right? You're dealing with fractions of a second.
It is. It's
so
true.
You're at a competitive disadvantage if you're not cheating against someone who is.
Absolutely, and that's what all the cyclists said. And that's why everyone in Lance's era and all that time, they were all cheating. They were all doing drugs. So then you could back it up and say, well, then it's back to an equal playing field. But some drugs are better than other drugs. I mean, the ones that can afford to pay top dollar for stuff, it is. It all comes down to financial gain and success. And then people that do cheat, they validate it. They excuse it. They say, well, I have to do this in order to get this. They basically tell themselves lies in order to think that it's still okay. And it's not. And
they believe it.
They believe it. They believe they're all their own lies. They believe that what they're doing is not wrong. And it's really bad. And I think it happens across all sports, and you see it everywhere. And the problem is the punishment has to fit the level of cheating. And I think in all sports we haven't quite gotten there. In the Olympic sports, I believe it's a 2-year ban, 2 years, and then the next time it's 4 years, or you're out entirely. Those are pretty strict guidelines, but still, for an athlete, a lot of athletes are willing to take the chance, and the testing and USADA, the anti-doping agency, has to have the best scientists and the best guys and the best funding in order to find out what people are actually doing. So, but it all comes down to money. It all comes down to financial reward, and so people want to be the fastest man on the planet. In order to do that, they might have to take drugs in order to do it, right? And so they'll validate it by saying, well, that guy's doing it, so therefore I have to do it. Well, no, you don't. You can be a champion to say, I'm not cheating, but I know he is, and this is why. And the problem is people don't do that. You don't speak out and tarnish someone unless you know for certain that's what's going on.
And then you're also going to end up in second place.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's good that we have all the testing.
It is. The testing is very good.